So this is just to give an idea of what this is. You don't have to go through these in detail, but we can make the slides available to you. Installing VirtualBox on Windows, because many students might be using Windows, and then installing Ubuntu OS in Oracle VirtualBox. How does one install VirtualBox, and then how does one install Ubuntu OS into that, and some details are here. Then we'll talk about Ubuntu Desktop, Synaptic Package Manager. This is for adding new software. This is extremely important in Linux. Then basic commands in Linux. You can see some of the commands here. Date and time commands in Linux. Once again, this is something important. This is useful for backing up, to recall when you created and so on. Basics of Linux commands. Okay, and then general purpose utilities in Linux. These are generally available with every Linux installation, so you don't have to install them. Those come already. File system in Linux is something you need to know, the student needs to know. And then how does one work with regular files? Copy command, move command, and so on. In fact, Linux uses file as a standard feature. So that is extremely important to know this. And then one redirects streams using pipes and stuff like that. Okay. Sorry, some of these things haven't come out well, but I will correct it and make it available. I need to put it in under math. By the way, I'm using Beamer slides that come standard with Linux, and it's extremely useful for people to make presentations, and you can create beautiful slides using that. So this should have been under math mode. I have to put $1 here, then it will come out all right. I will correct it later and make it available to you. And then working with Linux processes, the shell process, parent, child process, spawning subshells, all these things come standard. So your students will become extremely good in that. By the way, internship is something I'll come to shortly. Basically, I want to say that we have an arrangement with several people. Details I will talk about later. Anyway, continuing, working with Linux processes, the Linux environment. Once again, all these commands come with that. Basics of system administration. This is where you set up ownership, modifying file permissions. Somebody asked, how does one change the permissions and so on? All these things will be covered here. And then how does one manage the system as a system administrator? How does one add accounts? How does one become a super user? And then adding a user, deleting a user, all kinds of things, disk management, so on. Then we have, can you all please mute your mic? Yeah. Then we have simple filters in this head, tail, and of course, things like cat, more, tail is here. We do other things also. And then grep command is extremely important because this allows you to search for some pattern. Okay, and this is extremely important. Mastering grep, very powerful. It makes the learner extremely powerful. And then stream editor sed is once again very powerful. It is possible, for example, if you want to say that I have a set of files and I want to take text files, let's say all files that end with .txt of a pattern, and then you say in every line you want to say that at the beginning of the line you want to say um, something like created by XYZ, and then copy that into a new file, and then check that once it is done, move the old files to, let's say, some file -old, same file -old, and move the current files wherein you have your name back to this. In other words, you just want to take all the files, all the text files, put your name in the first line. In Linux, it's a jiffy, if you know how to do it. So sed is extremely useful for that. I'm just giving an example. More, you might even say that I have a file, I have an image, for example. In fact, I have, yeah, there it is. So you might even have something like, I have an image file, lots of image files. I want to compress all of them and produce with the same name -compressed.jpg or PNG or whatever it is, whatever you had previously. Then you can just you can set up a command, press a button, it'll go through, right? There are very many things that you can do with Linux. It makes you extremely powerful. Okay, so once again, to summarize, these are the topics that we will cover. So, and of course, bash is something that you will use all the time. Bash is a shell script command. It's all here. It's already inherent in many of these topics, and the learners will be using that. I think we are recording this talk, right, Sai Sudha?
Yes, sir.
Are we recording? Because somebody had asked whether we can record it. We can make the recording available. Somebody had asked. Yes, we will record it and we'll make it available. Okay, any questions on the topics? Quick questions. It is possible that one would want to learn many things. Somebody said cyber security and so on. Please understand, this is a course on Linux. It's a course on introduction to Linux. And we will stay with these topics, and we will have follow-up topics on Linux. Because one can say cyber security. Cyber security is per se not a Linux course. It's an important course, definitely, but that's a separate course. We are working on that. That will be made available at some time. Tanvir is asking, is it okay for beginners? Absolutely. It is okay, perfect for beginners, because we are talking about how does one install Ubuntu. We are talking about people who are Windows users, for example, right? Installing Ubuntu in your VirtualBox, which will sit in Windows. We are talking about Ubuntu desktop. What does the desktop look like? So we are starting from ABC. Okay. For a motivated student, it is a fantastic thing. And as I already told you, we are trying to arrange internship for students who do well. And importantly, maybe I will not show that, the outline, if you recall, which version is better to install in Ubuntu, we are going to suggest the latest version. Okay, so you can use that. All of that, we are going to provide the latest version, latest stable version. So you will be doing the right thing. Okay. By the way, there is not much change from version to version in Linux. All the commands that worked in 2010, in fact, I would say 1990s, will work even today. CP, move, more, cat, tail, all kinds of things. I would say 99% of the commands will work. 99% of the commands that worked in 2010 will work today also. That is the beauty of Linux. That if one learns, it will be with them forever. Okay. And one other important thing is there will be no virus problem. Okay. You don't have to worry about all those utilities that talk about if you don't use it, virus will come, and so on. All that will be made available. So we will answer this at the end, perhaps. Who will enroll is something that I assume all the ILW people know about it. There are also people who are not from ILW. So we will address it at the end. Tanvir, you will have to talk about it at the end, right?
Okay, sir.
There will be some people who are not familiar with ILW. You may want them also to know about this. Okay.